va voir qu'il y a du chat qui apparaît. Je fais regarder ça. Alors, généralement, faut que je te dise, faut que je focus sur qu'est-ce qui est en haut là pour les variables. Ah, il va là!
Mythic Society.
Waste that oil promo. It's a real.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Mythic Show, the second edition of the Mythic Show. I'm Pascal Menard, your host, with co-host
Philip Garreau.
I think they missed the start of that, but
They missed the start of that.
yeah,
Well,
just a little bit.
they definitely know that we are in the Mythic Show right now. So today we have a few subjects. A bit of follow-up on last week. Last week we talked about pre-modern and we talked about set roulette. Where's that?
Set roulette happened.
What the fuck? My phone is closed, but there's sound coming out of it. Interesting. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So yeah, set roulette happened this weekend. So we have results. We're going to talk about set roulette results. We're going to talk about.
Kaladesh is a good magic set. It's a powerful magic set.
Yeah. Okay. So some people like to refer to the last set roulette to a Kaladesh blood constructed.
No. Kaladesh set constructed.
Set constructed with fancy Marvel hits instead of
The good
Ulogs
old
and Emrakuls.
instead of spaghetti monsters and whatnot.
So yeah, so we have results of set roulette. We have pre-modern. So we have the first ever pre-modern tournament tomorrow at 1 p.m. So
Sharpen up those old frames.
yep, we talked about it like last week a little bit, but this week we're gonna talk about a tier list that I made today. Disclaimer: I have not played a single game of pre-modern.
Good, neither have I. Except back in 2002 when Madness was cool, I guess.
So I built my tier list based on that, basically. So yeah, we're just gonna talk about a little bit. We're gonna talk about that a little bit and go over the blog post that I made where we have the tier lists.
We played pre-modern when it was standard. Or at least I did.
I didn't.
I played Astral Slide. I played Madness.
I started playing
MDC, Mono Black Control.
I started playing Magic when the block,
when
block
the
that came
cards
out
had
was,
new frames.
yeah, the first ever block with new frames, basically. We're also going to talk about. That's why I need my phone.
Historic Arena Championships.
Historic altogether. So
Altogether.
we're going to talk about historic. A little bit about the Ooglandia Open, which is Jeff Oogland's historic, monthly historic tournament, I believe. We're going to talk about the
Exclusive ban list.
Exclusive ban list. We're going to talk about SCG Champ. I wrote down SCG Champ, but I'm honestly not sure what the actual name of that tournament is.
It's called Team of Reclamation Against the World.
That. We're going to talk about some MTGA sweet hacks. We're going to talk about Gen Con Online. We're going to talk about Double Masters. And we're going to talk about the state of the game, aka the updates of Arena.
I think we're very well set up to talk about Double Masters because we're two people.
Oh my god. Are we
We're
two rares?
we're in theme.
Are we two rares?
Are we two rares? No, we're mythic, man. We are mythics.
Can you get two mythics in a Double Masters pack?
You can. There are two rares and two foils. I guess you could dig two mythics.
I hate
I guess you could get 4 technically.
What?
You could get 4, right? If your 2 foils were mythics.
I'd assume so.
Alright. Let's just talk about Double Masters, not that we're in it.
Okay.
I hate Double Masters.
Oh, there
I
we
mean,
go.
I'm sure you hate all the other master sets as well.
That's not true.
Why? Why do you
I love
specific-
Modern Horizons.
Okay.
Modern Horizons.
Modern Horizons is not a master set. Modern Horizons is the worst thing to happen to Modern since Modern inception.
Why is it not a Masters set? Because it doesn't have Masters in the name?
No, because it has new cards in it. Master sets do not have new cards.
Oh, sure. But, I mean, it's a Masters set.
No, it's a high power level Modern injected commander spree.
But that's what all Masters sets are?
No, Master sets are reprints for commander players to buy more Magic cards without spending as much money.
Alright, sure. It doesn't matter. I hate Double Masters because...
it costs twice as much.
It's...
twice as annoying.
Like, I'm all for reprinting Magic cards and making them cheaper so that people can play. That's like the number one goal. Like, you want people to play Magic. You don't want them to like stuck up on cards and have the prices go up and like this is a secondary market thing, and Wizards should not give a shit about that. And Double Masters is like, I found the word the other day is, well, I found it's not elegant. What is the opposite of elegant?
What's the opposite of elegant?
Yeah, what's the word?
Disastrous? I don't know.
No, it's like
Ugly?
Negligent.
Nah.
Inelegant?
Inelegant. Anyway, you understand?
2 times worse.
So, I love sets like Modern Horizons when they reprint stuff, but they do it in an elegant way. Like, they make a set where, you know, they had snow in it. It's cool.
You mean like Astrolabe?
Yeah, that's fine. Like, as in, we're not talking about power level. We're not talking about design. We're talking about like, you're releasing a product for people that love your game. You're designing these sets because you love your game, and like, it makes sense. You're creating a story and everything. Double Masters is just like, hey, we lost a lot of money because COVID. Let's just make this set that's just gonna make a shit ton of money. And they're like, okay, it has to be a Masters because all the Masters sells a lot. We can reprint a bunch of shit that are expensive, and then people are used to that.
How do you go over the top of Ultimate Masters?
And they're just like, let's just do Double Masters.
Let's do everything twice.
Yeah, and just like
twice the rares, twice the foils, twice the price. They didn't double the amount of cards in the pack. They should have. I mean, it's part of the theme.
So
I think there's actually a way to find a 2 of something in every card in the set. I haven't tried it yet, but I've probably succeeded in a lot of cards.
Repeat that.
Since the theme of the set is Double Masters, there is probably a 2 or a double effect or a 2 of something on every card in the set.
Every card?
I don't think you can get there on every card. I think you can get there on a lot of cards. I mean, you would have to have a spoiler in front of you to be able to.
I mean, I saw some of the cards that are spoiled for sure. That's
you guys have the spoiler in front of you.
Okay, go with cards, and I'll run down things that I can get to 2. I did not succeed at Sneak Attack.
Doubling season.
Or Karn.
Can you get it 2?
Right,
No. Karn, you get 2 games because when you restart the game, it's a second game in the game itself.
Austere Command, you get 2 options.
You get 2 options. You get you're choosing 2 of the 4.
Noble Hierarch, you get 2 lines of text.
I didn't get there. I guess it produces.
You get 2 lines of text.
You get 2 mana.
Yeah.
Okay. this is not gonna get anywhere.
It works on every other card.
Copy. Grim Lavamancer.
Does 2
2 cards.
Does 2 damage.
Exploration.
Put 2 lands into play.
Thought, Reflection, draw 2.
Exactly.
Fuck.
It works on everything else. Like, Cyclonic Rift costs 2 and has 2 modes.
Vampire X-Mage costs 2 black.
Yeah.
Okay, if someone from the design team ever says that they did that on purpose, then all I'm gonna say is praise, and I'm fine with it.
I don't know how they worded on Terrastodon because it's 3, but
yeah. But yeah, I'm just gonna end my rant. Like, it's they also said, like, apparently Mark Rosewater said today in an article that basically Double Masters was exactly what I'm gonna say. They were just like told to make a huge set for the summer because they didn't have one. Plus they apparently from what I heard, I don't know if that's in the article, but like they didn't have one plan or something.
Did they have a what?
They didn't have one planned. they did not plan on having a
You know,
Masters or a big.
they were supposed to do it
set.
every other year instead of twice a year. That whole debacle.
I have no idea, but they were not supposed to, and then because they lost, or I'm saying they lost a lot of money.
Everyone lost money. It's not hard to.
Because it wasn't a great quarter. They're like, okay, let's make one, and so that set was created in like, I don't know how many months, but like less than usual. So all they did was just jam value cards.
It is.
Yeah, it is. But it sounds to me like I'm gonna wait to see if it's actually fun to draft, because
this might be a reason why I like it a little bit more.
but I feel like it's just a set that they looked at the price list on like MTG Goldfish. They sorted in like most expensive to lowest expensive, and they picked the cards. They're just like,
it's a great idea for stores.
Yeah, but it's not. What I'm saying is, it's not elegant.
That's true.
There are ways to do that in an elegant way. Like they've done it. Modern Horizons.
But Modern Horizons is not a reprint set.
There were a bunch of reprints in it.
There are no new cards in Modern Horizons that are reprints that were not already Modern legal.
Yeah, sure, but there were reprints anyway.
Sure, but a reprint isn't made to be elegant. It's reprinted. They're doing it twice.
No, but what I'm saying by elegant is like when you put okay, let's go with scroll down a little bit, like
exploration. Two lines.
Not exploration, because
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for thirst for knowledge.
Okay.
Like you're gonna put that in a set that has artifacts.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is, in this set, I feel like they put a bunch of cards in it that have nothing to do with the other cards. So it's not a set. It's just all these random cards that are not meant to be together. The only purpose that they are there is that so that the value goes down, like the price tag on it goes down. It's the only purpose.
Sure.
And I hate that.
Okay.
So like they Modern Masters, even the Modern Masters that they did, every time they put out a new Modern Masters, almost every card in the set actually had something to do with the other cards in that set. Like they're Modern Masters that were Metalcraft centric, stuff like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they have like Mox Opal in it. But you're printing this set and it has like Tron in it and like Blightsteel Colossus. Like none of these cards has anything to do with each of them. Of course, we haven't seen all the commons and uncommons. It's going to help with that for sure. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did put a bunch of work on it, but that's...
We have what, like 2 days worth of spoilers?
I mean, there's a lot of the rares and...
Like, from a buyer's perspective, if, like, I am Joe Random Commander player, and I am going to spend a whole bunch of money on this thing, I am actually going to be able to put every single card that I get in my booster pack into my decks. Which is not something you can say when you buy normal booster packs, because if this set is... Since sets are always made to be drafted, there's always these trash cards that people don't play because they're made for limited environments. If the objective is to use every part of the Buffalo, you're going to get commons, uncommons, and rares and mythics into all your decks because all the cards are powerful. The unfortunate part from the design perspective, or from your drafting, or from a drafting experience, is it doesn't make sense, which is true.
Yeah, I mean, it's for sure it's going to be a good product for the buyers. Like, I'm not going to argue that. It's literally made for that reason.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that, but it's just I feel like in the past they've always been able to at least not like. Okay, my main problem is like they put out this set that's obviously so that they can sell it and that everyone wants it, but they used to be able to do that in a way that doesn't sound too much like that, you know, that it doesn't sound like we made this to make money. Whereas this,
it's hard to say anything else about it.
Says Double Masters. It's like it could the slogan of the set could literally just be like all value, like,
double your investment.
I hate when they I hate when they like get too close to the secondary market, because I feel like it kills the story and the. Felix would I'm sure would have so much to say about this, because like he's more of a lore kind of guy and stuff, and
Well, there's no lore in this.
Wait, what are you saying? Like, I should be pissed that they're not making lore around the Master Set?
Kind of.
Can't believe Wizards will do us like that.
Thank you for backing me.
To be fair, like the lore aspects of core sets aren't as fleshed out as normal sets.
Nowadays they are though, because they choose like a planeswalker and try to like build a story upon that, even in core sets, which is why I'm saying like this.
Yeah, that's ever since M15, I guess.
I mean, we've had a couple trailers recently of like Wizards creating a video trailer ever since War of the Spark. I don't remember seeing one for the core sets.
Yeah.
Did they make one for this one? I did not see it.
That is true.
I don't think that they've made one for any core set since core sets have become a thing.
But it makes more sense though. Like, I understand that the purpose of this set is not to follow along the story or whatever that they have going on. But
they did one for Magic 2012.
What? Really?
Yep.
What was it?
What was
that? Was the first duel of the Planeswalker game.
Okay.
So they did a trailer for it. It's
a duel of the Planeswalkers.
But it was
trailer.
also for core set.
Like to be honest, we can't like say any trailer was remotely close to what they put out at War of the Spark ever since War of the Spark.
Absolutely. I mean, like if I were to put it in context, though, like when they did those the trailers that they would do back then for Innistrad, Dark Ascension.
Yes, they would have moving pieces of paper.
They were they were artworks that were just like programmed.
They weren't trailers.
Animated.
That was an actual proper trailer, and it was for M12.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was more Wizardsy back then that they were like, hey, we're doing things, we're trying things, and be excited about these things. And then at War of the Spark, they're just like, you know what? Let's have characters move. And then they did, and it was like, this is awesome. Why don't you do it again? And then they did. They weren't always as great, but I mean, they can't always be great. I thought the Vivian one for Ikora was great until the set, but
I think that people that do these, I could be wrong, and it might actually be something you can fact check, but there's a Netflix series, there's a Netflix show, or what do you? There's a Netflix.
The Russo
thing.
brothers are producing.
It's a movie, right, or a show?
I think it's
it's supposed to be a series.
Okay, so since they announced that Flash, we know that this is a thing. They've started having trailers, so I think they are the same people doing it. Probably that would make sense.
Then if what they're going to put out in the future is as good as their War of the Spark trailer, it's going to be hard to fail.
Yeah. So, all right, unsophisticated. That is kind of the word that I was looking for. Seriesist, I appreciate that. Inelegant's also probably a word that I.
It is. It would be probably the direct opposite of elegant.
Plus, the cherry on top of all my frustration about double
VIP.
That
VIP!
That didn't help, but mostly the unhinged lands. Like, who ever asked for an unhinged land reprint? Like,
are you saying this because you own normal ones and you've been playing them forever?
Like 1% of my argument has to do with the fact that I have 20 of each, and they're probably going to be worth less, not worth less. Not one word, 2 words. But I don't know. I feel like they are killing a little. Like, you don't need to reprint these lands because people need them to play. So reprinting Karn because people need them to play modern tournaments, I'm fine with that.
I remember last week we had the argument of I can't play the basic lands I want because Astrolabe wouldn't let me.
Yeah. So I guess it's a good timing to reprint lands that are beautiful. But my issue with it is like,
why those? Why not new ones? Because they're not reprints?
Like that product. They made these the unsanctioned. Like, this is great. They're not exactly like the previous ones. They're
a hybrid of 2 of them.
Yeah.
They're a great tribute.
And
sure,
this is great. That's like a product. I guess this is as VIP as the Duel Masters, as in there's not that many they're gonna be printed. Not everybody buys that because people don't draft that.
Yeah,
there's not that many open.
like $100 packs. I doubt people will be like spending. Like, normally a box is worth about like $150, at least in Canadian dollars. or maybe in American dollars, you guys spend $100 on a box, and that's cool. Spending $100 on a pack is a different level of spending money.
So,
and I highly doubt that there are a lot of Magic players that have that.
Are
type
the
of
VIP packs $100?
I mean, that's what their. I can't say yet for 100% sure that they're going to be retailing at that price.
Okay.
But that is the.
But you're talking about the VIP pack.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if an Ikoria, like, not promo pack, but the equivalence of a VIP pack.
Collector booster.
A collector's booster. If a collector's booster for a normal set is about $35 to $40, and this set is for a normal booster probably double the price, why wouldn't the collector's booster follow suit? Which would probably, in that sense, put it in the stratosphere of about $100 for a pack. And even though their boxes are like 12 packs or 10 packs or how many you want, this set should probably have like booster boxes of like 5 packs. It's like, who's gonna like drop $500 on 5 packs when you normally do that for like 5 boxes?
Yeah, I mean, if the value is there, which is probably
it will be because people won't do it.
I don't know. I'm curious to see. I mean, it's certainly a good test to see how much they can have consumers pay for packs, I think, because that's like the most value / expensive product they've
high
ever
roller
made. Yeah, that's the most high roller product they've ever made, right?
I mean, is that a way to like show off Magic? Like, we're so awesome, people pay $100 for a pack. Are you bragging about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I certainly wouldn't be bragging about that, but if I was a company, but
it's like our society that spend money on our game is so degenerate that they are giving us brown in Canada, maybe in America as well. We have brown $100 bills. One brown $100 bill for a 15 card booster packs of 2 rares and 2 foils and other stuff.
And in those packs, you get the unhinged lands that
you don't get them normally, right? Do you get them normally? Like, would you open like a normal booster pack and get like 1 unhinged land?
No, they're only in the VIP, which is better for.
Are they always foil?
No, I don't think so. But okay, so they're a little bit different, right? They're not like full extended art. They have like a little. There's a box for the name of the land, I think.
Is that a good or a bad thing?
I personally, I think, like better
because it makes it different.
Yeah, I mean, it makes them different, which is something. But the whole thing about like the whole reason I don't like them is that I feel like every time that there's something that can be called a collector's item or it's super hard, like Guru Lands or something.
It's hard to become a collector's item if they're printing it, right?
Yeah, and
don't collector's item become collector's item because people try to find them, like Power or something?
Yeah, but like, okay, so a Karn Liberated, I'm okay that you reprint that because you can't, you need it. People need it to play in actual formats. You need to play in the game. The basic lands, they don't. So please, the ones that have specific arts on them that are 15 years old, don't reprint them because
people that will be nostalgic about them probably already own them or would probably spend money to just get original ones. Like, if you're a new Magic player, do you need to have the same lands as people that were playing 15s like years before you?
No, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Is there a point to that?
I feel like lands is the only thing that you could keep super like low print. Some arts you can keep super low prints. That way you can like
people don't trade basic.
Sometimes.
Yeah, people don't trade basic lands. Like, if you like basic lands from Mirage because they're written, add a mana to it, and you like that, you play those. Like, personally, the first full art lands I owned were Zendikar lands, and I own a ton of Zendikar full of face like basic lands. Like, Unhinged existed when I played Magic. I just didn't feel that I was ready to pay like $8 at that point, which are probably a lot more nowadays for foil versions of these things, which back then were probably like $1 or $2. But like, I didn't feel that I needed to be doing this. When they actually introduced it as an exclusive thing to Zendikar to have full art basic lands, I felt that that was the identity of Zendikar, and I really liked that.
That's exactly my point.
And I've always played those basic lands because I have a ton of them. And like, I've opened basic lands in a whole bunch of different sets, but like, there's Pokemon lands from like Theros Beyond Death, and then you have Ikoria lands that have something different. You have these new Core Set 21 lands that have a new logo. Like, essentially, depending on where you started playing Magic, you might have these basic lands and you might identify to them. But like, I haven't felt the need to change the basic lands I was playing, unless they were snow, to justify what deck I'm playing. These are the lands that I have. I don't feel like I need like beta lands. I don't feel like I need Arabian Nights Mountains. I don't need to be as cool as the other guy and have unhinged lands, because like, if everyone has the same lands, are you really being different with your basics?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, basic lands, I feel like they identify you to an era.
Yes.
It came like when you started playing, or I don't know. It doesn't have to do with when you started playing. Whatever
it could
you
be.
liked.
Those are the lands that I was given when I started playing Magic, and I really respect the person that taught me how to play Magic. So I've been playing with these lands. I asked them to sign it.
Yeah.
It could be that.
Yeah. It's like the only thing that you can
play forever in every format.
Yeah, and it's never good. It has no effect on the gameplay.
They can't ban your basic lands. Wait, they tried it. They actually did in Modern. So
recently, they silently banned them. You didn't know, and you're like, "Fuck, my lands are banned."
If you were told that playing basic lands of your choosing was suboptimal, and you were a real tournament player, then you would have to adhere to the fact that your lands had to have Canada's snow on them.
They should make basic lands like
from countries.
Yeah, from countries. That'd be so great. They did that with sleeves on Magic Arena. At some point, you could buy sleeves of specific countries.
I mean, yeah, I saw like flags of certain countries. Yeah. I think that's cool. Like, it doesn't affect like. Sleeves on arena decks are like basic lands to paper Magic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, now there's basic lands on Magic Arena too, but there's specific basic lands that you can get. I think they just released the unhinged ones recently.
But do you feel that you would identify more to a type of skin of basic land on arena, or to a sleeve of deck that has your flag on it?
I'm certainly never playing with sleeves on arena.
I won't either, because I probably have to pay for it, but...
Because I full shuffle my cards on arena.
You used to in real life as well. I have proof of this.
There should be a button that's just like hands that shows up, which you just do like...
And it should take more time off your clock, right?
Yeah, you can use that animation, but it takes time off your clock.
You know, like when you cast Uro, it takes 20 seconds off your clock.
All right, we're done with Double Masters. This was our rant about Double Masters. Now, let's go to the state of the game. You have that article, Felix, right?
I do.
Jumpstart is here in so low quantities that unfortunately people can't buy any.
I think there was
this only for real life.
Okay, Jumpstart is on Arena. We know that. That's fine.
They said it's out in print as well, but like after last weekend, I don't know if anyone has any left.
What do you mean?
The quantity of Jumpstart packs that were produced for, I'm going to say, North America is phenomenally low. I can probably easily say that I got 5 to 10 times less booster boxes than I do for a normal set that I got for Jumpstart, because Wizards released a statement like 1 or 2 weeks before it got released, after delaying it twice, that they couldn't produce. And after being able to sell these packs for double, probably original retail, we're still out of stock. And everyone's out of stock. And like, a box of the set is supposed to be cool for new players. You just open, it's supposed to be like a normal set. Like, the box is supposed to be made like $150 or something of that nature. It was $250, and I still sold out. Why? Because people need these Commander staples that... Why? Why do you need them now?
It's really funny because I personally think Jumpstart is the best way to show Magic to a player they've
I
ever
agree.
made.
Unfortunately, it's really hard to justify this when you have to pay twice as much for your pack.
Yeah, because one way that you make this cool product that shows people how to play Magic is that you've put valuable cards in it, so that people that don't care about starting Magic, they just want the value, they're just gonna buy it. So there's none left of people that actually want to start playing Magic with it.
That could be a thing. Like, the problem behind this isn't the fact that these people are signing up because they need their cards. It's the fact that we just don't have enough physical boosters to sell to enough people. Therefore, the value of these...
I don't even know how it works. It's a booster box that has...
It is a booster box of 24 packs. All packs have 20 cards in it. Basic lands...
cards.
Yes, because basic lands are included in your pack. So
it's 20 cards plus lands?
No, it's 20 cards, lands included.
Okay.
So you open 2 packs, you shuffle them together, and then you have basic lands. You don't need to buy them, and you don't need to include them. They're already in your packs.
Okay.
Of the colors of your packs. So, like, paying more for a booster pack just because there's basic lands in it doesn't really make sense.
Are these lands different, or I know
not to my knowledge.
We talked about that, Felix, with on a different show where we talked about Jumpstart having, I think there's one basic land in the batch of your basic land
that's different.
That's different.
That's fine.
It has a...
I thought it was all of them, but sure.
We extensively talked about this on the last arenas for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's an alternate art land in those that's like...
fine.
Oh yeah, the black one is a Phyrexian.
Well, not the black
Small
one.
one.
The Phyrexian one is a Phyrexian.
Maybe
It sells for like $30.
Okay. I mean, everything sells for an obscene amount of dollars right now because no one can buy them.
Yeah.
Like, if you want this green, like, elf that pumps everything on your team into 5/5s and makes all your stuff uncounterable, is like $150 because it's a random mythic out of a pack that's new that no one can buy.
Yeah.
Because if you bought a box of Corset 2021, you would receive 2 packs of Jumpstart as a promo in addition to your Biobox promo.
So you could get Jumpstart cards like a month before they release?
Yes.
Okay.
In that way, well, to be fair, Jumpstart was supposed to come out before Corset 21, and then they got delayed, so it ended up being that way, and that's why we were able to get those packs. But even after delaying it twice, like, they were still not able to produce enough that it creates this gigantic bubble of prices for these new cards, and the whole objective of the product, which is to make new players want to play with this interesting way of just, you open 2 packs, you slam them together, and you go, because you don't even have to build a seal. Like, it is your entire seal pool, is a great concept.
Yeah.
And then people can't do it, or you have to pay twice as much to do it. And after this weekend, I doubt that people are able to find Jumpstart packs until the second wave of product comes by, which I hope really makes the product at least go down 50% in price.
With that said, it's on Arena.
It is on Arena.
And it's great because I think since we just talked about how it's the best way to teach someone to play Magic. Like,
Arena is probably the best support way to teach someone to play new Magic.
You know, there's Jumpstart in Arena, so it can only go...
You do not have to pay $10+ for a booster pack on Arena.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, so I played a few with my friend with Udis. We played I think 2 runs. I think you play 2 matches, and if you win 2 matches, you get a rare from Jumpstart plus the packet that you opened or something. We did that because we wanted to play Historic with some of the cards that are in it. So scroll down, Felix.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so play. All right, the Arena Open. We talked about that last week. That the Arena Open is going to be historic. I don't think we need to talk much more about it. What? It's August 1st.
Yeah, it's not this weekend. It's next weekend.
Okay. Are you going to play this?
Are you going to play this?
Yeah. Oh, you're asking. Okay.
I'm not going to play this.
I think I will.
I won't because I have something else planned.
Okay. But it's
I mean, and I can't because I don't own historic cards.
Okay. You don't have enough wild cards to build one deck.
I have a hard time having enough wild cards to play standard.
Okay.
Just because I like building different standard decks with trash cards that I would normally get to pay 50 cents for in real life, but on Magic Online, on Magic Arena, you have to pay the wild card.
What else is in this state of the game? Just so
FNM Home, Historic, All Access.
yeah.
Also, Historic appeals probably less to me personally, just by the fact that I own all these cards in paper and not online. So
that's actually
having to pay double for it isn't really something that appeals to me.
So Historic All Access is just an event where you can play
With any card.
with any cards. Yeah.
See, that appeals to me
Yeah.
because I get to do it without having to spend.
Yeah, but it's like an FNM event where you win.
I mean, I'm probably not going to play that event to win sleeves. I'm probably going to play that event to crush people with cool cards.
Sure. It's cool. I just want to see if there's something else interesting so that we can just talk about this story.
There's gonna be this little pre-constructed deck.
Don't care.
It's all cards.
Next.
Okay. Didn't we talk about? Oh, okay. I talked about that with Felix off.
Yeah, we had to talk about it, but you didn't.
Okay,
say
that's
Amonkhet
kind of
remastered?
interesting. So, can you just go back up to the roadmap thing?
No.
So, coming soon, Jumpstart, Rain Open, Amonkhet Remastered. So basically, one thing that I hate about Historic right now is that it changes like every 2 weeks because, well,
That's
first
generous.
they-
More like every 2 days.
they had bans and unbans, and then now they have Jumpstart, which is like 500 new cards, and now they're having Amonkhet Remaster, and then they're gonna have a little bit lower in that article. They're talking about Pioneer Masters, something like that.
Do you think they're going to print Inverter and Pioneer Masters?
You're gonna print what?
Do you think they're going to print Inverter and Pioneer Masters?
Yes, unless it's banned.
Fuck them!
Can I look at the article again?
Yes, sir.
Equestrian in concept is the new set or a set.
It's a code name for the set after Zendikar Rising.
Oh, I thought it was about horses.
No, it doesn't mean that it's going to be about horses.
No.
It's the code name and mobile. That's in development right now.
The day I get to play Arena on my cell phone, there is no other game I will ever play besides Magic.
That's gonna be interesting for the Mythic show. You're gonna have so much to talk about.
I mean, you don't think I have enough to talk about?
Last week I was on the toilet and I was playing this very long match.
No, but I'm very, very interested to see what it's going to look like on mobile. But the more and more that like I see mobile games,
Does mobile mean cell phone, or does mobile mean like iPad?
Well, a little bit of both.
I think they set specifically.
If you have cell phones working, you got.
Are you gonna get Magic Arena on this screen?
Why wouldn't you?
I mean, we could.
I mean,
You do Fortnite.
Can you play Hearthstone on your cell phone?
You can play Fortnite. on your
That
phone.
game was designed to be played on a phone.
I mean, Magic Arena was kind of designed to be played on a phone too.
Magic wasn't designed to be played digitally.
Well,
Not
original
Magic, but Magic Arena
but
was-
Magic nowadays is more and more designed towards digital play.
Are you talking about companions?
I'm talking about I'm talking about generic card design straight up. Like
They have changed the way they word cards
Yeah.
because they don't require triggers on Magic Arena. Interesting that they didn't put that into effect when they created Cat Oven.
Yeah.
they created.
The
Cat.
Cat Oven.
Oh yeah.
So many fucking clicks. This is
Yeah.
annoying. All right.
I'm guilty of this. I really enjoy putting cats in ovens. Fictive tech, fictive everything.
All right. So state of the game is done. Let's just talk about Historic because there's
With 0 games played. Well, actually, now you've jump started it.
I've seen enough gameplay, and I've
I
played
have
with
seen enough
people.
gameplay,
I've played with
Pascal
Ulyss.
Maynard, to have an opinion.
I've played with Ulyss too. I wasn't clicking, but I was there.
Does that mean you were losing? Maybe.
I don't really remember.
Not important.
50-50 maybe, I don't know. So there's the Arena Open that's Historic in 2 weeks, but this weekend there's the Arena Community Cup with $1,000 in store credit prizes. That's Historic. Felix, can you show us that beautiful MTG Melee page with the tournament on it?
Come and playtest your Historic deck to be able to crush other people when it goes much bigger scale on the historic event on Magic Arena next week.
Well said. Historic right now is kind of interesting. I've seen deck lists, and yesterday I was playing with your list, and we were playing goblins, and it actually looks pretty good.
Like Matron Ringleader Goblin, or like
Matron Ringleader and Muxus. How do you pronounce that in English? Muxus.
What does it do?
It's a 6-drop. I think it's a 4.
I don't know what it does.
It's a jumpstart card. So
that's why I don't know what it does.
4 colorless red. I think it's a 4/4. When it comes into play, you reveal or look at the top 6 cards of your library, and you put all goblins that cost 5 or less into play.
So it's Winota Goblins.
Yeah. And when it attacks, it gets +1/+0 trample for each other attacking goblin.
So it's a pile driver.
Yeah, but it's mostly like an insane ring leader, kind of. You play that and you like...
So it's like a circus leader.
I'm gonna avoid replying to this. So basically you play that and you put a chieftain or a war chief into play, and you win, basically.
Sure.
And
is this Siege Gang legal? It is. It's Dominaria. Yeah. It is. It's Dominaria. Siege Gang's legal.
It's true, but people are not playing it, which is interesting.
Is Sling Gang a thing? Because it's only a Modern Horizons thing.
No. But people are not playing Siege Gang.
Is Kiki Jiki legal?
No.
Okay.
So you don't have the combo with Snoop.
Snoop-y-doop.
But anyway, yeah, that deck has Snoop has.
What do you do with Snoop if you're not comboing? Is it just like Future Sight?
A really good Magic card.
It's just Future Sight.
2/2 for 2 Goblin. That's a Future Sight. Yeah. In Historic you have Gem Palm Incinerator too.
That's a good Goblins card.
So yeah, that deck is just a really good like
Magic experience.
I think it's probably the best Goblins deck since the last time it was played in Extended or something. Except that modern version of
we had Goblin Lackey and Goblin Recruiter.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that's the best we've got since then.
Okay.
Has Goblin's been playable in like any format since then? Not really. I mean, it was played, but it wasn't.
I mean, in Modern Horizons, they tried to revitalize it. They didn't do a great job at it. But now that we have like Bogart Harbinger and
now there's one, but it's a fake Goblin deck. Like
it's a combo deck.
Yeah, it plays a few Goblins because it's a combo.
I mean, you can still play mid-range stuff if you want up Goblins. It's just like if your opponent taps out, you just punk them out.
Yeah, but I think so from what I saw, because I've been looking at Modern a little bit because I have a tournament Saturday to play, is like the best Modern, like the best Snoop combo deck or whatever you want to call it. The best lists of those decks are just like the ones that are basically playing. They're just like not playing Goblins. They're just playing Thoughtseizes.
Is it like Splitter Twine?
Kind of, yeah. But
he likes that
mid-range instead of like tempo. But yeah, obviously that's what I'm playing this weekend.
Because it's Splitter Twine.
I just need to find a good list. But I think the good list is play less Goblins, basically. Just play the combo and maybe some other cards.
Some Tutor Toolbox, or is it irrelevant?
Probably some.
So like Ringleader is not a thing?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think if you're trying to build a Ringleader list, it's going to be bad because that means you're playing more Goblins.
I mean, I assume if you're probably playing Matron since it finds pieces.
No, I don't think so. It's a pretty bad Magic card on its own. And like Arbinger is already quite bad. I don't think you want more of that.
Okay.
I think. I don't know. I need to look.
We'll see next week.
We'll see next week, yeah. After I win the Mana Trader Series. Use code PMAIN for 20% off your first 3 months. So, yeah.
You're allowed to put a plug on your own show.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's another cool deck in Historic that I like is the red-white. It's like a red-white polymorph deck. So it's all token producers. So Legion's Landing, Forbidden.
Raise the alarm.
Raise the alarm. Forbidden friendship, is that the word? Red card.
Yes,
Dragon fodder that makes non-dragon.
Yeah.
That doesn't make goblins.
So that it plays some other stuff that make tokens.
Does it have manlands? Like some sort of manlands?
I don't think so. And then it plays 4 Luca and 4 the new polymorph in
Transmogrify.
Yeah, and 2 Craterhoof Behemoth that is Jumpstart in Jumpstart. So Historia Benalia, it plays Historia Benalia. So the deck just like...
Does it have like planeswalkers that poop out tokens? Like is Elspeth a thing?
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember.
I mean Theros, like the Theros Beyond Death Elspeth, like just -2 make guys.
I don't think it plays that. It's like a deck that's trying to kill you on turn 4 or 5. It just, from turn 1 to 4, it makes tokens, and it transforms the token into a Craterhoof and just kills you.
Okay.
That deck seems kind of busted. I think that deck was doing well in the tournament thing.
Does it really have to be a Craterhoof, or could it have been like an End-Raise Forerunner and still been playable? Like, is giving plus 80 million to your team...
I think it's relevant because all your tokens are just 1/1s.
Okay, so making them like 3/3s is just not good enough?
Probably not.
They have to like be
they have, like,
all 8/8s?
So you go like, let's say you go turn 2 Raise the Alarm, turn 3 Historic Benalia. You only have like 3 tokens that are attacking. So you wouldn't be killing them in a Forerunner.
Okay.
And it's not really a deck that chips in damage because all you do is...
Because your creatures suck?
Yeah. So... But you do very reliably put a Craterhoof into play because you have 8 ways to do it.
Unless you draw them.
Yeah, unless you draw them, yeah. So, I don't know, that deck looked pretty good. If I was going to play Historic Blind, I would probably play that or Goblins. And
it doesn't use a lot of brain power?
Yeah.
Or format knowledge?
And that's pretty much what I had to say about Historic. That's all I know, literally. I think there's... I can't even think of another deck that's legal. Oh, that's played. Can you?
In Historic?
Yeah.
I mean, I could probably tell you things that got banned. Yeah. Like Widowtook used to be a deck because it got banned.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Gruul used to be a thing because Burning Trimester used to be a thing. Is it still a thing? I don't know. I knew it
sounds like a bad version of the 2 decks that I just talked about, so probably not.
Well, I mean, those decks existed before Jumpstart, and Jumpstart just like injected power. Yeah,
maybe there's a new... If Robert was in the chat, you could probably tell us. He is in the chat. Play Rakdos, sack that deck is absurd. Okay. Oh yeah, I saw that Okay, so that's really cool actually. There's a Rakdos sack deck in Historic that plays Friction Tower to ramp up into Bolas' Citadel.
There's like Goblin Bombardment a card? Or?
No, it's just a Bolas Citadel deck.
So like they printed Black Ancient Doom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it plays Priest of Forgotten Gods that you can use to
do the same thing
to that thing. Kethis, Field of the Dead. Yeah. Field of the Dead is obviously a deck because now you can play 8 Explorers because you can play Explorer and Growth Spiral. So your deck is all Explorers.
Kethis also got Oath of Nissan. No, that was Pioneer. But like I assume in Historic it's probably about the same thing.
Get a card in Historic? What card did Kethis
What is even legal in Historic? Let's say like you have to say, okay, Modern Legal cards from this year to this year, Standard are these things, Pioneers this stuff.
It is.
How do you define to someone these cards are Historic legal? Easily.
It's all cards that are on arenas. If you're a person who's only like ever played arena, it's very easy to know because it's simple. It's all the cards that are on arena. For us, it's a lot more complicated, especially since like we both literally live off Magic and we've been doing so for 15 years, and we have a hard time like talking about a format that's the most relevant format right now.
Or that they're trying to make the most relevant for us.
For at least like 2 weeks. Yeah. And we have a hard time knowing what cards are legal.
Because they come from so many different sets. Like I can name you cards from a whole bunch of different sets. If you ask me what non-standard set cards are legal in Historic, I probably would only be able to name you about 5. And they're probably banned cards.
They someone says Kenta's got chromatic sphere in Jumpstart.
That's cool.
Yeah, chromatic. I remember seeing.
What does that accomplish that it wasn't accomplishing beforehand? Is it just like you can now cast Kethis?
Well, it probably helps your mana, and it's
it's not legendary. Like you can't cast from your graveyard.
Yeah, but it triggers your like Diligent Excavator and.
Oh, okay, because it's a historic card.
is historic the name of that mechanic?
I believe so.
Okay. The star. Kethis got triumphs recently, I guess.
So did everyone else.
Yeah. But it specifically helped Kethis.
I mean, because you got Obs on Triumph.
Alright. That's going to be enough for historic because we've come to the extent of everything we know.
We can't complain about it yet. We don't know enough about it yet.
I mean, I do like. We talked about that before, but I do like the idea of historic
and what it can become in the future.
And I will play it when I get the time and the opportunity to play it. Probably next week when I play the Arena Open. Like, okay, let's talk about the Arena Open because I'm gonna play it. It has nothing to do with the format. I love that structure, and it's so addictive. Like,
you are compelled as a competitive Magic player to enter in an event that has relevant prizes.
Exactly, and it's also the most convenient tournament that ever existed.
It's more convenient than paper tournaments because you get to play Magic when you want to be playing it.
Yeah, and
instead of when you have to play it.
Day one is best of one, so you can literally play.
I have a hard time with best of one though.
Yeah, but I
understand why they do it, and I don't necessarily enjoy that part. But I guess getting through it and accomplishing it to day two, you actually get to do what you want to be doing and having fun doing it. But it's hard to get there.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that run as many times as you want. You can have. That's what I love about it. Is just like if you want to qualify.
0-2 drop, rebuy.
Yeah, if you want to qualify, you will probably. If you will probably qualify, and I understand like best of one it's kind of shit, but to get to the 2 where you're gonna play best of 3, I think it's fine. It's a good
for us old people that have been playing Magic for so long. Best of one is just not a thing that we believe should exist. But we understand why on Arena for low attention span individuals of our days that it's much better to play only one game of Magic for it to count.
In that context, it's like you don't have to free up your entire day to play this. The last time I played one. It took me I went 5-2. You need 7 wins, so I was 5-1, and I lost.
You could probably crush someone with Mono Red before lunch.
Yeah, well, way before that. I went 5-2 and it took me about an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, because the rest of one. Okay.
Yeah.
As long as you're playing decks that attack.
Yeah, I was playing, there's like I remember there was like a specific deck for best of one that everyone played. Everyone day 2'd with that. It was like super all in.
A black deck?
It was like a deck that
I played like some sort of mono black aggro decks in best of one.
No, what was it? It was like a weird.
Are you talking about historic? Or are you probably talking about standard?
Standard. The last Arena Open was standard.
The ones I played, I just tried to play.
For sure, someone in the chat can help me. It was a deck that was like specifically designed for best of one for that tournament. Seth played it. A lot of pros played it. Winoto, yeah, it was the Winoto, but the version that was like super all in. It was playing like incubation thing. You were mulliganing into Winoto. You would like it was.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Okay, so I don't understand.
Yeah. Can you stream it next time, P-Bane? We'll see. Because what I like about that thing is that I don't have to free up my entire day to play it. So I can just like wake up, play it for an hour whenever I want to have to fire up the stream and all that stuff. So maybe not. But I will stream the Mana Traders series this weekend. That's modern.
Because that's a real old school time structured event.
Yeah. It's going to take my whole day, and I've committed to. But yeah, it was just like a super all-in version of Winoto that was literally just like try it at turn 3 Winoto. Oh yeah, it was playing Paradise Druid, and it was a really dumb deck, but it was doing what it had to do.
Win games of Magic.
Yeah. Let's go to set roulette.
Yeah.
let's stop talking about relevant formats.
Let's talk about all the irrelevant formats, but the most relevant format to the Mythic Society, the set roulette,
aka Kaladesh set constructed. So
the most fun deck building experience you will ever have.
yeah.
Not Kaladesh set constructed.
I still do think that it's like, even if Kaladesh was so oppressive, it was kind of interesting to see who would find the best like Timur lists, who would find the best Mardu list, who would find the best Pummeler list, and all that stuff.
And if you were just a hater, you could just jam all these artifact destruction spells and probably get away with it. But no one did.
The what?
You could probably jam a whole bunch of artifact destruction shit and probably get away with it, and it probably still wasn't good enough.
Actually, that's something that happened, I think, in top 8. Rémi Fortier top 8'd, and he was playing like Fragmentize or something.
There was a Fragmentize in his main 60 cards.
Okay, but it's just like about someone who was playing those cards, and they were playing against a deck that had a bunch of artifacts, and it wasn't good because all these artifacts were already doing something. Like Marvel, it was already spun, and like all that stuff. So it's not that easy. It's not just like, oh, it's all artifacts, I'm just gonna play Dissensions. That's not how Magic works.
I mean, playing 3-mana Chupacabras isn't good enough.
Verdant Shaman?
Yeah.
I mean, if they got to spin Marvel and all you do is play a 2/2 that kills their Marvel, no, it's not good.
I mean, it was standard. The version of standard was actually better than a Verdant Shaman, and we still didn't play it.
Which was?
Manglehorn.
That's Ether Revolt.
Manglehorn is an Amonkhet card.
Okay, but it's not legal.
It's not legal in that set.
Okay.
No, but it was legal in standard.
Yeah, in standard.
Yes.
Right.
And the Marvel actually came into play tapped, which was an additional line of text on the Manglehorn, and it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah. So, it was kind of interesting. I mean, obviously, I would prefer not having another tournament of that same format because it gets.
We won't have to because Kaladesh is no longer part of the pool.
Yeah, exactly. The topic was 2 Pummelers, some deckless base, which Rémi was on Mardu, and Miles was on Mardu also. So I think it was 3 Mardu, 4 Marvel, 3 Mardu, 3 Marvels, and 2 Pummelers.
That's a lot of artifacts. That's what I read.
It's all Kaladesh archetypes too. But for what it's worth, for the record,
energy is not a parasitic mechanic.
I mean, it was because of these specific cards.
I understand.
Anything wrong with energy in general, but so I personally think that KCI was, and I still maintain that I think KCI was the best deck.
Like no one played it, or
people played it.
People played it, but no one won with it.
Some guy, Steven Stearman, in like 15th place, lost his winning in.
Okay.
But I think it was mostly part of the fact that it was kind of hard to play / hard to find the best build of it. And
what was the coolest thing that happened with those builds? Why do you think it's the best deck?
I'm saying that because I had a lot of tools and a lot of cards that you could play in it that just seemed to like, for example,
I remember
Mythic Needle was really good in that format, and if you could just main deck Mythic Needle and it's basically just an enabler for your deck.
I mean, I remember you asking me, what do you think about this week's set, or last week, and the first thing I said was like, I really want to be playing Ironworks, and either people tried it and didn't get there, or they just really wanted to play Smuggler's Copter and the essence of set roulette, spinning the Marvel wheel.
Let's just say it that way. I think, and I'm saying that I don't think I would have figured it out in 1 week either, but I think KCI, if the format went on, I think KCI would end up being the best deck because it had explosives, Needle, it just had so many.
It had Everflowing Chalice at 0.
Everflowing Chalice, yeah. It just had like, it feels like it had everything to be good, but nobody found the
How are you killing people?
There's multiple ways. There's Etherflux Reservoir. There's what's the other one that like any fireball because you have Ironworks, so any of that effect, I guess. Actually, I saw a list that was super cool. They were playing Marvel and KCI. They go really well together.
Why?
Because you sack your board, get energy, you get to spin Marvel.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the correct build or anything, but they had the black puzzle nut, which is pretty good with KCI for the same reason, like Astrolabe is. So I don't know. It makes sense to me that it wasn't doing well because it's probably hard to play, hard to find the best list, and the format is extremely punishing.
Hard not to time out on Magic Online because of all your actions.
Yeah, also, yeah, like it's something that you learn as you play the deck. But like the fact that the format was so punishing, like Pummeler is super aggressive, Vehicles is super aggressive, and Marvel, like you can't stumble, and it's a known thing that when you play combo decks, the first versions that you play are kind of like suboptimal, and you stumble because your deck is just misbuilt, and you get to tune that over the weeks. Now you only get 1 week. So that's actually one flaw that I found with Set Roulette is like some of these decks just never get to live because they take weeks of tuning instead of just one. So often like aggro decks control, like non-combo decks are easier to make work in 1 week because it's just easier to figure out.
Do you believe that let's say 1 year from now that you retry the same Set Roulette, let's say like next July 2021, we have Set Roulette that is exactly this format. Do you think people will evolve, or do you people think we'll just run back the same list?
This specific one, I think it's going to change for any.
It could be anyone. I mean, just like in general, if 1 year from now, if you're telling this to people, they might iterate on it. If you don't tell them and they still have this 1 week frame, but they have previous information, how does this previous information affect their deck building? Because they've already gone through this 1 week process. They have a second week.
So for this specific one, I think it would be hard because Teamer Marvel and Vehicles, that are obviously the two best decks, are doing two different things, and they are both attacking from different angles. Like Mardu attacks from different angles, and Marvel attack from different angles, and
as decks or as a
decks.
whole?
As decks.
Okay.
So,
what is the non-attacking angle of Vehicles?
Like, it doesn't really control you, I guess, but it can play mid-range and an aggro role. So these decks are super hard to beat.
I remember, like in Standard, you had cards like Gideon Avison. These are not cards that you have access to in the Set Roulette. Like you still have Copter, and Copter's great all the time, but like you're still attacking with Smuggler's Copter.
Yeah, I mean, I know Remy was playing like one Siege Gang. Can you pull up his list, Felix?
Yeah. Whose list?
Remy Forti. Fifth
Gotcha.
place. Pia is kind of like so Scrounger, like all these cards are just like
they're
so
resilient. Yeah,
they're really resilient. So it's easy.
So it's
to
not
play.
Multi-dimensional. It's just very resilient.
Yeah, that's true. But cards like Incinerate, for example, lets you play 2 axis because you can burn them or burn a creature.
Like I understand the Marvel axis of like you can play a mid-range fair game and you can play the Marvel combo game, but I was unsure how you would be able to translate such a different dynamic from the vehicle perspective.
And its main deck, I agree, it's like it doesn't attack but it does have 2 angles, as in it's resilient and aggressive. So if you're just like, oh, it's an aggro deck, I'm just going to play blockers and removal, that's not going to work against that because they have resilience. So that's 2 angles. And
Wrath of God was legal in this format and people were not playing it.
Yeah, because it's terrible. It's not good against any.
It's not beating Smuggler's Copter. It's not beating Scrounger.
So with that said, like all these decks attack, the top 2 decks are 2 different decks that each attack from different angles. So it's really hard to build a deck that would be good specifically against those things. But so to answer your question, a way to build a better deck maybe would be to play something like KCI, something that doesn't want to interact with them, just that's doing something faster, I guess. And you kind of like need to be resilient or
have like, for example, they have Campbell. He has Campbell in his sideboard, so you have
to kill
explosives, and stuff like that. But so I'm gonna say that I think KCI would do what you're saying, or maybe if a deck was gonna do it, it would be something like KCI or another thing proactive. But I can't think of anything else proactive that's not Marvel or Eagles.
What is your favorite deck from this event?
KCI, probably KCI Marvel deck, even though I have no idea if it was a good version of it, or the best version of it, but I think KCI was the coolest. Like, you can't say Marvel with Jaces and time stretch is pretty cool too.
It's fun.
Yeah,
but from the person casting these cards,
everyone was like expecting it though, so it wasn't that like innovative or anything else.
What do you think about the Platinum Angel deck? That was
a really cool deck. I don't think it's good, but it was a really cool deck. It's like
it's a lot of flexing deck building muscles.
Yeah, and it's like it's the embodiment of
set roulette.
And like every time we talk about like a deck that's like, oh, I'm this blue deck that's just trying to protect one creature and ride it to the win, all that stuff. This is like literally your whole game plan is to get.
It's really hard to be anything else but Platinum Angel. Platinum Empyrean has about the same thing. Platinum Angel flies, so you don't even have to enter combat, but you cannot have it die. Otherwise, you die.
That deck was really cool. It was probably like
I thought it would have been cool, like if we had like let's say Future Sight with this with like in a new set, like we have Future Sight and like Pacts.
Can you protect Platinum Angel with Not of This World?
Yes.
What does that card say?
It says counter target spell that targets a creature you control. You may cast this for 7 less mana if you target a creature with casting cost 7 or greater.
We might get that in another set roulette. Platinum Angel exists in multiple sets.
Yes.
And we haven't had Rise of the Eldrazi in any of the set roulettes yet.
Have we had Future Sight?
No.
Because
I'm really excited to get it.
Because we have Pack and Negation with Platinum Angel.
Yeah.
I've done that in Standard.
Like,
it was terrible.
I feel like this person creating that deck for set roulette is going to impact future set roulettes. Like, I think people will try to build around Platinum Angel because this guy did.
The fact that we had specifically Madcap Experience that you just like polymorph into this guy every time, you don't even need a guy in play.
He was even
great.
Though.
He was.
He was? I thought he was just blue black.
I saw a version that had it in it.
Oh, sure. There might have been another version, yeah.
That you just like play 4 mana, play polymorph, don't need a card in play, can't target anything. Have this Platinum Angel be in play. If you can't kill it, well, too bad.
Yep. So that's gonna wrap it up for set roulette. The next set roulette is the reveal of the legal sets is August 15th, and then exactly 8 days later is the tournament, so August 23rd. So be there. You can already sign up, by the way. Okay, well, let's close this. Okay, let's just talk about the few topics that we had that we can talk in literally 2 minutes each. In MTGA, if you press Alt when you're drafting, it shows you the number of copies of each cards in the pack that are in your collection. So let's say you're drafting, there's a rare in the pack that you're like, oh, I want this for my collection. I don't know how many I have. Phil was saying earlier that you can change tab and just go look in your connection, but apparently if you press Alt, it's just going to show you like how many you have in your collection next to the card.
Why don't they just like put that on your interface?
Because it would club. It would be too many things, and it's unnecessary for like 99% of the people. Like when I draft, I almost never pick a card because I don't have it.
Then you should stop having like all the cards.
I mean, if I'm drafting a set, that means I'm drafting it many times. Usually, I'll rarely just like draft a set a few times. I'll just draft it until like I know it inside out, so I'll have all the cards. So maybe what I do doesn't apply to everyone, but I don't know. That's never something that I've seen anyone ask. It feels to me like this was something that was in the game since the beginning, and just nobody knew about it. And then someone found out because they pressed out for some reason, and it just
I just took
up.
the long way around.
Yeah, you would go to your collection.
Exactly.
So I don't know. I just thought, chat, you should know. Chat in future YouTube.
MTGA efficiency.
Yeah, that's like one thing we do on this show is you know that you can tap. Have you played Reclamation on MTGA?
I have not.
Okay. One thing that's annoying about it is when you cast a Reclamation, you have to and when you cast an explosion, you have to click all your lands, then let the Reclamation resolve, tap all your lands, do it again. If you just press QQ, it taps all your lands for mana. It's random. It's kind of random what mana it has.
So when your opponent cries, you just tap out.
Like,
yeah.
Something out of
But it doesn't matter when you cast an expansion.
Yeah, it just forces all lands to be tapped.
So that's something that someone found out that was in the game for who knows how long. That's extremely useful.
Is there MTGA cheat sheet? Does this exist?
Someone probably did that somewhere, but there's a few like shortcuts like this that are useful. Also, do you know that you probably use that because you played MTGO and we all love F6?
Yes. Enter.
Yeah, if you shift enter on MTGA, it passes a turn without ever fucking giving you the priority for no reason whatsoever. Because
the thing about shift enter is it requires both hands. Enter just requires one hand.
Yeah, but sometimes it's tops.
Yeah, I know.
And you have no reason. There's a button that says forward.
No, your opponent casts a spell, and you've passed priority, and they still ask you to is this okay? I'm that's why I'm passing priority.
But if you shift enter, it's an actual F6. It's never going to give you priority. Okay. It's going to change your life. I swear.
It might make me play more Magic Arena because it's something I probably need as a cat oven player, just by the fact that my timer's always lower than my opponent because I have to significantly click more often on my screen than probably he does. Just because of how this combo works, and I like it.
It's going to save you time. But all these shortcuts, they're probably not going to be on mobile, fortunately.
There's no way you can cat up on mobile. There's no way.
I wonder if they could have some sort of thing that you slide from the left and it's just a bunch of shortcuts that you can click.
Execute cat loop!
Yeah, that would be great. Alright, so this is done. We talked about that. Okay, I want to briefly talk about Gen Con Online because I saw it and I was intrigued because they have a bunch of Magic tournaments.
Yes.
And
of a different variety.
Yeah, and it's the most convoluted shit I have ever seen.
Is it more complicated than Pro Magic nowadays?
I'd have to say yes.
Wow!
I
indulge me.
Spent about 30 minutes clicking links and redirections and they're using about 5 different platforms to run a tournament. It's you register through the Gen Con thing to their website, and then you're redirected to Pastimes, which is the organization organizing the Magic tournaments in Gen Con Online. Okay. And then you're redirected to some other platform for the
Are you playing on Arena or are you playing Magic Online?
That's the thing. There are tournaments that are in paper that you play with a webcam. There are tournaments that are on Magic Online, but they're official Magic Online, so you'll get a Magic Online token, and there's an event that you enter in Magic Online. There are some that are Arena that are using the challenge features. It's fucking crazy. And
I thought you were going to say someone can challenge someone from Magic Arena to Magic Online.
No. But it's
really that deep?
The number of loops you have to go through to play. The intent is great, and it's great that they're offering all that stuff, but please go to that website and just tell me that you understand something, and you're not going to tell me that. It was just... I feel bad for them because I think it's going to be a huge flop because it's just too complicated. And I know that because we've been running stuff and every time that you add a layer to for sure, in paper, you show up to your store, you register, you play the tournament,
tournament is there. It's all in one place. It's easy. Online, there's layers, specifically because you can't run a tournament in client on Arena as an independent organizer, so you have to use Melee, right? And Melee was like revolutionary because it has almost everything in one place and in one page that you play your tournament. You've played some of the tournaments, right? I have. It's like a page that updates dynamically. You don't have to refresh all that stuff. It's just there.
Yes.
And that's revolutionary. So, and what they are doing is like the complete opposite. They're going back to like what it was before Melee, and that was a flop because we ran tournaments before, and just it's too complicated. Like if all you want to do is just play a tournament, you're gonna go through all these loops. If you're playing for like you're qualified to this tournament for some other reason, you were invited to that tournament, has a huge prize pool, you're going to be like, okay, I'll read and I'll try to make it work. But if you're just like want to play a tournament for fun, or
you're going to find it unusually where to
Commander, and like
if you're going to play Commander, you're going to pick up your deck box, you take your deck out and have someone in front of you.
Yeah.
You don't have to register for anything. You have to pick up the phone and call someone, or you text them, depending on how you...
They have like Commander pods in their thing, and it's like you have to install a webcam or your phone in some box so that you can see your board. You have to download this app where you can play the match. Like super cool. Some person made an app or an application that can be on your phone or online, and it's like it tracks cards in play and all that stuff. It's super cool, but you have to register through a website.
I thought you were going to say because you have to play Commander.
And then you have to go to Discord that tells you you're playing with that guy and that guy. And then after that, you have to download that thing that I'm talking about. It's called Spell Table. You have to set up your webcam. And then you can start playing. Like
just because you want to play with other people.
And you're playing a casual tournament with like almost no prizes because you're playing Commander. So, I don't know. It's super cool. I hope for them that it works, but it's not. I know it's not gonna work. So yeah, that's you can go check it out, Gen Con Online. I saw that and I just thought it was hilarious. What else? Set roulette result. We went through that. Pre-modern tier list.
You said you had a list of this and then it was done.
Yeah.
Do I get to bash on it?
You absolutely can. People have already started doing it.
Nice.
It's not that.
Nope.
Go to scroll up. Go to read.
Hopefully you don't have like that terrible 3-colored Turbo Land from last week on that on that tire list.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there it is.
God.
All right, so
people use internet. It exists nowadays. Not back when like they had Grand Prix.
Oh, it was a 4-color deck.
What? What other color did it have?
You're talking about the deck that was splashing Wall of Blossoms, right?
No, I'm talking about the Turbolands deck that I told you was terrible because Zvi like created one literally 20 years ago, won a Grand Prix with it, and had 2 colors.
Okay, I don't know. Click on it in Tier B. There's a Turbolands list. I'm not sure which one I use. Just what I want to do is that the archetype, the entire archetype was this one's playing Oath of Druids with.
Yes, that's what it should do.
Gosh,
yes, these great cards.
Yeah, and this is a 2-color list too.
Yes, this is a playable piece of Magic digital cardboard.
There's a band list that's playing Enlightened Tutors.
You don't need to do that.
Why? You get access. You can fetch all your important cards with it.
What mana fixing existed back then? We don't have Shocklands.
Well, it's playing. Okay, this list is okay. I think this is an Oath deck. Actually.
Yes,
but that's like a mix of both. But the Turboland list that's banned doesn't play Oath of Druids, and it's playing. Well, first of all, it's playing like 30 lands, so it already helps a lot fixing your mana. The fact that you're playing 30 lands.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you scroll down, is there like a band list that you could see somewhere? No.
Do you have one in your tier list?
It's fine. We're just gonna skip that. That's fine. We talked about it last week. the Exploration and Oath of and Orn of Greed is a good combo.
Yes, it lets you play double a land drop.
Yeah. It's much easier to get your white mana when you do that.
I mean, why?
because you're drawing cards and your deck is like half lands.
Okay.
So you have to play more white sources than you can in like a 23 land deck.
The stats are on your side.
Yeah, it is true. So my point is, these are ranking archetypes and not specific lists, and turbo lands mean Horn of Greed and Exploration. So I thought that was tier B. So in my tier A, I think the best deck by far is
Why'd
probably
you use letters instead of numbers? Normally said like tier 1 and 2 and 3. Then you're like tier A.
Because kids these days, they use these tier lists where it's like tier S, A, B, C.
For it, bro.
And I didn't use that because I don't use tier S. I just say A, but...
Okay.
But yeah,
it should be emojis.
It should be emojis.
Yeah, just tier 100, tier...
Tier esports!
Esports.
Home Alone kids making the Home Alone face.
So, yeah.
Tier 4, Resident Sleeper.
Like, blue counterspell decks seems to be like the best thing you can do in this format because...
That's what we used to do.
Because creatures suck.
Yes.
Small creatures suck even more. So,
yes.
It's just... There's like no good aggro deck. There's Sly.
You have like Savannah Lions and Jackal-Pup. Nowadays, Savannah Lions and Jackal-Pup don't have drawbacks and have upsides. Same amount of mana. They're called like Dauntless Escort. Or whatever. The one from Dominaria.
Yeah. So, like, by definition, Standstill just like is a good card because nobody's putting something into
doing
play
anything
on turn one that is very threatening. And just like people, there's a lot of these decks are combo decks, and like counter spells are great versus combo decks.
I just wish you could play Teferi.
No. You get Swords to Plowshares, which is obviously the best removal. You can play that format.
Yep.
You get to play Counterspell, which is another card that's probably one of the best cards in the format.
That's why it costs one more nowadays.
Like, that Landstill deck just looks miles ahead better than the format.
I just really want someone to cast Teferi's Response.
I think it's a card that is in some sideboards, or at least decks with Cunning Wish.
We used to like main deck it.
Yeah, but
Just activate a Mistress Factory, attack, your opponent's like, ha, I'm gonna swords. And you're like, I'm gonna pay 2 mana, counter your spell, and draw 2 cards, and then hit you for 2.
it's much better when people play Wasteland. I think people don't play Wasteland in that format.
Why?
Because the mana suck. So
Because you're playing 4 color decks instead of 2 color decks.
I mean, like, for example, Sly, it doesn't even play Wasteland because you need your lands to cast your spells.
Why? Because you're playing Ball Lightning?
Yeah.
Wow. We're in that era of Magic.
Yeah. And I don't know, like, a lot of decks just play a bunch of basic lands because there's no non-basic lands. There's, like, the mana base sucks because
you guys are spoiled nowadays to be able casting all your 4 and 5 color stuff. We had it hard.
Like,
we had pain lands, we had fetch lands. Everything in your mana base hurt you. Nowadays, you just gain life.
These decks play, like, actual, like, invasion tap lands, like Coastal Tower and stuff.
I remember registering those. Yeah. Nowadays, they're called guild gates or gain lands. They're commons. They're not uncommons. You get to play more of them in your draft decks, and you get to play every color of the rainbow.
So these decks don't play... Sometimes they just, instead of playing these bad lands, these terrible lands are just like...
Badland isn't
That's why it's terrible lands.
Okay.
Instead of playing terrible lands, they play basic lands, and that makes Wasteland bad because people play shit ton of basic lands. That's my understanding why there's not that many Wasteland in that format.
I'm pretty sure the Landstill players will play Wasteland.
The what?
The Landstill players will play Wasteland.
The lands what?
The Landstill players.
Oh,
I mean, you kind of have to, right? If you're playing Landstill?
Probably. Click the blue-white Landstill list. I think it plays like 2.
Really?
Dust Bowl. It plays Dust Bowl.
Sure.
That's much better.
You get recursive Wasteland.
Yeah.
Wow. Decree of Justice, Wrath of God, Humility. All this great interactive magic.
It is very interactive.
I know. It sounded like a hyperbole.
Like, this looks like a legacy deck from like a few years ago.
Whoa.
Without
From like
Storm Enforcement.
From like 20 years ago.
I disagree. I played Legacy where people were playing standstill decks with Decree of Justice in them.
Yes, but like Brainstorm, like, but Decree of Justice was a thing, and like Fetchlands and Brainstorm, like people hadn't caught on that it was just like actual ancestral recall. People were doing it because it was cute, not because it was the literal best possibles.
Yeah, I mean, Legacy was a much different back then too, but anyway, this deck just looks miles ahead before. We're gonna talk about the other deck.
It looks it looks like a great classic way to play Magic. Factor Fiction, Disenchant, Absorb, Swords to Plowshare, no creatures, Wrath.
Yeah, because the creatures suck. That's the problem
with old school
or
Magic.
The good thing about old school Magic is that creatures sucked and spells were better.
I mean, in 2020 Magic, Planeswalkers exist and creatures are gotten better, but like they're not. Like the creatures back then were on par to what spells were to Planeswalkers now.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, the bar for like how playable as a creature card now is like much higher because.
Is it Uro high?
No, there are definitely creatures that are worse than Uro that
like Questing Beast
play. Kind of, but I want to like think of a creature that all the decks play.
Currently, all the decks play Stonecold Serpent.
Do they?
It doesn't get Teferi. It doesn't.
I know why it's good.
Yeah.
But it's not ever like.
If you're turning creatures sideways, it's probably in your deck.
Okay, sure. Aggro decks play. Okay.
Like it doesn't get Elspeth's Conqueror's Death. You can put mutated Gem Razor on whatever you're trying to do. Like it doesn't get pinged by Mayhem Devil.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand why it's good. Just obviously not every deck plays it, but every aggro deck, that makes sense. That makes a lot more sense. So anyway, going back to pre-modern, I had Stasis in my tier 1 because it looked good. I have literally never played with Stasis my entire life.
Yeah. Playing with Stasis isn't the same thing as looking at Stasis.
Yeah, I don't know. Just like the cards in it just seemed like it would. First of all, it plays a bunch of counter spells, which I think is good in the format.
Which all these decks tend to do.
Yeah, a lot of these decks. A lot of
your high tier decks, if you will.
I think that Replenish deck doesn't play counter spells.
It play things like Attunement. Like Replenish is what today's, I don't know. I'm not gonna say Elspeth Conquers Death, but like we don't have living death effects anymore.
Yeah, but we don't want to compare these cards. Like people that like Modern don't want to hear anything about the new Magic cards. I think that's the point.
No.
So
actually, we just have Planeswalkers. Planeswalkers do not exist.
Planeswalkers do not exist.
That's why you need to pay mana to draw cards, and card advantage is a thing. And why all these cards play blue cards, because card advantage is easy, like accessible, and a tangible form of interactive Magic. Instead of just like playing a Planeswalker, like changing your die and be like, hey, I'm creating things. Instead of paying mana like you used to.
Can you click on that Stasis list? Actually, Thwart looks insane in that deck.
I'm sure this Stasis deck plays Forsaken City. Yes, It does.
Yeah, because that's the combo with Stasis.
It is the combo.
It plays Black Fires, which is
a great way to kill your opponent when you're not doing anything.
Yeah. Gosh.
Something that you can't really do nowadays.
It looks really good. I hope that it works. But
you hope that Stasis works?
It has some results from what I can see. I hope people play that tomorrow. I want to see.
You're such a horrible individual. How can you want people to play this? Like playing against this,
decks.
I guess you have to play it yourself to make other people endure the amount of non-Magic you're playing. This is why prisons are no longer designed in Magic the way that it used to be.
Yeah, true. But it's doing it in such an innovative way. It's just it's not just playing shit on cards.
Old cards are innovative.
Yeah. Yeah, because
by definition, bro.
There is nothing in New World Magic that
does anything remotely close to what this deck does.
You're right. History is hard to rewrite.
So, okay, what else is interesting to talk about in the previous lists? Sly looks kind of terrible. Mostly because
why is it called Sly? Because it used to be called Sly, or you just playing? We can't play red decks anymore.
Sly because
Red Deck Win used to be a cool old name too.
Just like plays Curse Scroll and Jackal Pup. It just plays the same. It's the same deck basically as the Sly deck that won Worlds or top 8 of Worlds or whatever.
Because it was Ball Lightning.
Yeah, probably.
Does it have terrible cards like Hammer of Bogardon?
No.
Okay. Do you have cards like Fire Blast? Is that a legal set?
So, yeah, it's
okay.
4th to Onslaught. Scourge. Yeah. But yeah, no, Sly looks kind of terrible when you look at it, but I think it makes sense that it wins because there's no aggro deck in the format.
I mean, people don't play creatures.
Yeah, people are not equipped to beat aggro decks because that's the only aggro deck, kind of. So, like, if Jackal Pup is actually good in this
I'm
format,
just pretty sure that the blue-white deck can just be like, hey, I'm going to have these Circle of Protection reds in my sideboard, and you're like, got me!
Yeah, for sure, post board. I mean, you're a red deck, so post board, you're gonna eat it.
You're going to get copped around.
Yeah, I don't know. Sly looks like it's decent because of that, but not because it's a good deck. It just attacks the format in a way that no other decks do. Like, if you look at all these decks, it's all blue decks or combo decks.
Yes.
Like, and
so the innovative way that Sly wins is using the combat step.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of these combo decks look like they're kind of clunky and not inconsistent, and red is good at beating that. Because it's just like, well, you're stumbling.
Yet red has always been good at red has not always been good at beating this because nowadays red just does everything instead.
Yeah,
it's like I'm gaining 10 life and it doesn't matter. Just Ember Cleave you.
Have you seen that green white Tron deck?
Nope.
That's a deck that one thing that I love about
Can I see the
Pre-Modern,
green white Tron deck?
One thing that I love about Pre-Modern is that there are some decks that just exist because people are taking ideas from modern Magic. Like, this deck never existed back then.
No. Masticore, Crop Rotation, Swords to Plowshare, Decree of Justice, Living Wish, Sylvan Library, Mishra's Helix. Really? Sungrass Egg.
Wait until you get to the mana base.
Plains, Sungrass Prairie, Forest. Why are there only 3 Tron pieces?
Because you have Living Wish, so there's 3 Tron pieces in your sideboard.
I shouldn't have asked that question. There are more brushlands than Tron pieces in my main deck, and it is the correct thing to do according to my deck list. Because Sylvan Shrine gets the ones in my main deck, and Living Wish gets the ones in my sideboard.
But it's such a cool deck because this deck clearly exists because of... It's like a port from the modern Tron deck, right? Like playing Chromatic Sphere and Sungrass Egg to fix your mana. And
I agree.
And like playing a good mix of payoffs and interactive cards.
I mean, it's like you have 12 crop rotations, right? No, like you don't have access to Sylvan Shrine, so you built your own Sylvan Shrine using Living Wish. And crop rotations, your expedition map, I guess, is just much faster. The unfortunate part is you have to play cards like Masticore. There's nothing better than Masticore. I mean, maybe I'm just too used to not having downsides on my cards.
I do agree Masticore doesn't even look that good in this format. There's not.
I mean, I remember like Masticore used to be good in Tinker decks just because you had about 30 mana on turn 4 that you weren't discarding cards. The Stroke of Genius was already drawing 30, so it wasn't a drawback. It was just a way to like remove your opponent's side of the board before you could attack for 4 every turn. But
yeah, I have no idea if this deck is actually good in the format or anything, but it's certainly like it's pretty.
It's pretty.
It's elegant.
It's smart. Yeah, it's elegant, and it's
I'd
also
say it's innovative.
You'd say it's innovative.
Yeah, it's innovative.
But it is.
Would you say it's innovative elegance?
It's an innovative deck in an old format. Like, I think if you gave that specific format, let's say that literal format, okay, 4th to Scourge was a format in all these specific
extended
cards. Yeah, but there are some cards that are banned or whatever. If you gave that exact format to people back then,
they did not have these types of advanced concepts.
Exactly. This deck would have never existed. This deck exists because people found out about it.
When Modern was created, and some dude said, I'm going to put 8 chromatic stars in my 12 Tron piece deck and cast Karn on turn 3 every game. People were like, you're an idiot. Like, there's no way that works. And then he just started smashing people. And Tron is by far the oldest classic Modern deck.
Yeah,
because
Cedric Phillips.
We used to play Pyroclasm. We used to play Grove of the Burn Willows. We don't play these cards anymore because things like Expedition Map exist.
Expedition Map existed.
Back then?
Yeah, it's in the car.
Oh yeah, it did. You're right.
Yeah, I think the biggest change to Tron.
Ugin?
Yeah, I mean they're just like printed enough good cards that you can play. That
Worm Coil Engine?
Color. Worm Coil existed too.
Okay. Yeah,
they just made more cards so you don't have to play Pyroclasm. Like,
yeah,
they made better cards that
they made Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, they existed for a bit. Mishra's Elix sounds like a pretty nice Tron payoff.
I agree.
Like, stop playing Magic.
Yep. You stop casting spells. It's a good way to have all the fun.
And Living Wish is certainly a busted Sylvan Scrying.
What else does it get? It has a Sungrass Prairie, a Wasteland,
a good old Scavenger Folk.
A what?
Scavenger Folk.
It costs 1 green.
Bad weird enchantment?
No, it's worse than that. It costs 1 green. You pay a green, you tap it, you sack, and you just blow up an artifact. It is a D-Dark card that was reprinted in 7th edition.
Yeah, I know the art. It's like a ugly looking.
Would you say it's a Scavenging Folk?
I would go as far as saying it's a Scavenger Folk.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go back to other lists.
Yes, sir.
Turbolands, Rex Survival. Rexer is such an iconic, like.
It's a great Magic deck.
Yeah.
What is the list that you put look like? How many colors does it have?
Every list that I looked is 4 survival, 4 Recurring Nightmare, and creatures and lands, which what it should be probably.
I mean, I remember playing Opposition in that deck, and it was great.
Sorry.
To click, yeah, can you click on
like you could just like play cards like Opposition. Like if you're playing something like Academy Rector to find your Recurring Nightmares and your survivals, why aren't you playing things that stop your opponent from playing Magic like Opposition in your Dude deck?
Probably because you don't have like a. I mean, how can you? Probably because you can't play Recurring Nightmare Survival in a position the same mana base. Because the mana base all.
I guess it requires you to play City Brass, wouldn't it?
Probably, and I don't know. Is that playing Birds of Paradise? Can you scroll so we can see it?
It probably should.
Yeah, it plays Birds of Paradise.
Yeah, I mean, like Birds of Paradise is essentially Chromatic Lantern.
This list is Jund. It plays.
Does it have good old Phyrexian Plague Lord?
No.
What?
It doesn't play the.
That's like the original Rock.
Yeah, but there is the Rock deck. I don't think it plays Phyrexian Plague Lord.
Because I what I liked about this deck is when you add blue to it, you could have access to things like Trade Wind Riders, which is great with Opposition, which is great with Deranged Hermit, which is a combo.
Sure.
Or a lock.
And they are locking you with Recurring Nightmare instead, I guess, with like Avalanche Riders and.
So it's more like a Panza way to lock you out.
Yeah, I mean, Opposition, you're tapping their lands. If you're blowing up their lands, it's a similar thing.
You don't have to like continue to do these loops. You just say like turn men sideways. I assume Panza's part of this stuff because that's when it was invented.
There's Fires.
I mean, Panza's like the ancestor to Fires.
I saw Monored like destroy land deck. Maybe there's a red green.
That's what we call Panza.
Monored.
Land destruction in general.
Sure. Okay. I don't know. That deck looks kind of cool, but it looks awful against a blue deck.
I can see you, if you don't resolve Recurring Nightmare Survivalist, you're probably just playing a random pile of underpowered dudes.
Like, even if you resolve a survival, like, you need to resolve...
It's not like nowadays where you can just, like, get cards like Vengevine.
No. You have to resolve something meaningful, and
we don't have a hollowed one.
I don't feel like it's gonna happen.
Nope.
So I don't know. This like looks kind of cute and maybe good. That's why I put it in tier 2. But
I guess it has to be in the fun folder.
Yeah,
you have more fun playing this deck than you actually have victories.
Let's look at the other decks. Stiflenut. There's 3 versions of Stiflenut. There's a blue-white. The blue-white version plays Meddling Mage and Swords. The Plowshare plays Enlightened Tutor.
Is Mask a legal card?
No, but people play the blue Charm, like Vision's Charm, I think it's called.
Because you phase it out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like Stifle 5 through 8?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they play Enlightened Tutor so that you have 8 friction that I'm not.
Yep.
Their blue-red version plays Fling, which sounds kind of bad.
Do you have a full English breakfast deck?
It's not in there, and the reason it's not in there is that Volrath's Shapeshifter is bugged in Magic Online.
Oh. Okay.
So, unfortunately, that deck is not played.
Who thought graveyard ordering would be a problem?
Honestly, it's not. Apparently, it has nothing to do with that. It's the card just like apparently it just restarts the game. You just activate it and it restarts the game.
Like Karn?
Yeah. Or, some weird, makes no sense bug.
Okay. So the card doesn't exist on Magic Online, or
no,
you just can't play it?
You can. It's just bugged and it's going to restart the game. So if you do that, we're going to ban you.
Okay, good to know.
So there's a blue-red Stiflenut version, and there's a blue-black version that plays like Duress and some
good old
black cards.
Thoughtseize is his Duress.
Psychotog,
Tog!
classic blue-black deck that's less control than like the standard version.
So it's more like of the extended version where you like play Gush, Foil, and Thwart, and you try to kill your opponent on turn 5.
Yeah, let's go check it out.
I don't know if it specifically plays these cards, but
I mean, like I remember extended versions of Tog playing Foil, Thwart, Cutting Wish, Fact Fiction, Mana Leak, Intuition, Accumulated Knowledge, Mental Note, I guess. Mental Note didn't really. Force Spike.
It's basically just a tempo deck. It's a protected queen deck where you play a Tog and you ride it, but
because you don't have the actual upheaval.
Way.
Yeah, you don't need actual upheaval of your opponent because you're just like, oh, I'm going to cast cards, draw more of them, put more of them in my graveyard, and then just put my hand in my grave and take my graveyard and make my Tog eat it, and then you get Dr. Teethed.
It's just more aggressive, so it's mostly a tempo deck more than a control deck, I guess.
I remember we used to be able to kill people on turn 5 because of that. Like, we had Cutting Wish that could go get Shadow Rift, which gave Shadow to your Tog and you drew a card, just to make it unblockable.
What else?
Good old Underground River in these quote-unquote
Can we
control
go back
decks.
to the other decks?
Yes.
That Zombie Spark deck looks pretty cool.
What is that?
It's a zombie infestation, Squee, Nether Shadow, Ashen Goal.
So it's a graveyard order deck.
It plays Death Spark,
Which is a graveyard order card.
Krogan Aura.
Okay, there's no way I touch this deck with a 10-meter pole.
Why not?
Because it has graveyard order in it.
Yeah, but on Magic Online you can't reorder your graveyard.
Thank God.
This deck plays Wasteland too.
How is that appealing? Like, how is like your compelling argument to like this deck's great? It plays Wasteland, and then you told me Wasteland sucks in this format.
And people play it. And then there's one Urborg Volcano to go with the Wastelands. I don't actually know if this deck's good, but it looks pretty cool.
Like, the concept, like, functions as a Magic theory. There's no way you can have a paper version of this. Like, Graveyard Order is just...
Well,
there's a reason it doesn't exist anymore. This is a very prime example of that.
Most people that play pre-modern play it on paper. But it's also not that hard to keep your graveyard ordered.
I'm sure it's not. But as a Dredge player, I have reordered my graveyard many a times, but normally there's 40 cards in it, whereas this probably has about 3. Because everything's returned in your hand, so every turn you just get to put them back in the same order and just pick them back up.
Let's go back to the deck list, and then we're gonna close this up with one thing that we. Actually, let's just go. I just wanted to say that I placed the Rock in tier C.
Why?
I think it's one of the most played decks in the format, and I don't click it. Look at the list. It looks bad.
Wall of Ruins?
Like, it plays Ravenous Bailoff in a format where, like, aggro...
It does damage
one
stack?
deck.
Does damage stack?
No.
Okay.
It uses new rules, but I don't know. This deck seems like a mid-range, mediocre deck.
Where's Spirit Monger?
Some people play, like, 1.
Isn't that like the essence of the Rock? It's Spirit Monger and Pernicious Deed?
Yeah, this guy plays, like, Blastoderm instead.
Man, why would you do that? Like, how these decks used to be constructed was like you play Duress, you play Cabal Therapy, you play some Mana Dorks, you sack them to these effects, you have Deed to like mop up the rest, and then you just bash your opponent in the head with a Spirit Monger with some Treetop Villages. Like, Living Wish is fine. Vendetta seems far-fetched, I'd say. Like, Smother's fine. Like, what is Vendetta killing?
Can I read the card?
Like, the blue decks don't have creatures. It's a terror that deals damage to you. Like, it doesn't kill black creatures. It doesn't, like, blue decks don't kill creatures. And if you're just taking damage against the red deck, what are you doing? Like, what does this actually kill? Like, what are you just vendetting a Jackal Pup?
I honestly, I have no idea.
I mean, this could be a reason why you'd put it at tier 3. Like, it doesn't look.
I mean,
good.
I think Vendetta is a good card. It's a 1-mana removal.
It's a 1-mana removal that's counterproductive with what you want removal to do. Save you life points.
I disagree that's what.
I don't think that's exactly the source.
That's what removal does in this type of deck. Like, sure, if you're just removing a blocker, it doesn't matter how much damage you take when you're attacking your opponent. This deck doesn't seem like it's attacking people. Like, you have Ravenous Bailoff and Blaster, which are the only 2 creatures you turn sideways. Like, walls don't turn sideways.
Yeah, there's Treetop and, like, you can Living Wish for
sure.
I guess. They're in Jeremit, Masticore, and Genesis. But anyway, that deck looks... What I'm saying is that this deck, like, it has nothing to do with this specific version.
Mm-hmm.
But most people play Bailoff, and I just don't get it. It doesn't seem good at all in this format. And it looks way too mid-range for the format. And a lot of people play that deck, and I think it's mostly because it's just like an iconic Magic deck. But
sure,
it doesn't mean it's good.
Prove
me wrong.
I just feel like these decks are worst versions of decks that just have proven results in the days where people would play these. Like, in 2003, I'm sure that people like Darwin Castle, which were great advocates for The Rock, did not build his deck in this fashion, and I don't think the ban list will change the format that much from what he used to be playing. Like, he used to be playing like Birds and Llanowar Elves to be sacking to Cabal Therapy, but like he wasn't playing cards like Wall of Roots and Wall of Blossoms. He was like turning guys sideways. Like, I don't remember him playing cards like Vendetta. Like, they weren't relevant.
Yeah, Vendetta just sounds something like specific to this format. Like,
we weren't even playing Recurring Nightmare, and I love Recurring Nightmare. I really like the card, and I don't know what it does. It's really a powerful effect, but like, we didn't even need it. Why are these people doing it?
I don't know. We'll find out as we play the format.
Hopefully, you as a Mythic Society competitor build better versions of what people think they're doing correctly.
So,
to wrap this up, let's go back to us.
Welcome back. Before we close this out, I just want to say that we added a bunch of sick foils to the store. Head to themythicstore.com. We've added a playset of basically all the modern legal foil lands, which is pretty cool. That we acquired. Shocklands, Fetches, Ayavugan, Tectonic Edge Expedition,
Mana Confluence,
Urborg, Mana Confluence,
Temple of the Eldrazi.
We don't have that though. But we acquired those cards from Foil Master Flex himself.
Wow.
It's a person in our local scene.
Various Quebec cities.
Yes.
Nicknamed Foil Master Flex because he plays with foils, and we
only knows,
ironically bought foils from him.
Yeah, he does not play with lesser quality of paper magic.
For him, premium is regular.
Yeah.
But that's
There's no premium. Yeah. It's just the bar for this man.
With that said, thanks all for watching. We'll see you tomorrow in the pre-modern tournament if you're playing. This weekend, Sunday, for the historic Arena Community Cup with $1,000 in prizes. And of course, we have DZ streaming about right after the pre-modern tournament. So around 7, not right after, but at 7 p.m. we have DZ streaming on our channel.
Will DZ be playing in the pre-modern event?
I don't know. He's in the chat. Maybe he can answer that.
Maybe he should like stream his matches. Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be great. I don't know. I don't know if he has Magic Online downloaded. I don't know. We'll find out. And we've got on Friday.
It'd be a great reason for him to do so.
True. We've got Goblet Credible streaming on Friday at 6:30, and I will be playing the Mana Trader series on Saturday. It's not on a schedule because I just literally forgot to put it there, but I will be streaming it as well. It's modern. I don't know what time it starts. Just tune in Saturday afternoon. I'll be streaming.
You guys know. We'll just be there.
Be there. Phil won't be there.
I won't be there.
I will be there. Thanks for watching. And we're going to raid someone.
Sidetrack's life. Thought we could read them.
Are they?
Yeah.
They're in the chat.
Oh, you can multitask?
Let's see. Let's see if we have someone to raid. Did we forget to raid last week?
No, we didn't. We did.
We're getting good at this.
We have always attacked. Raid is always active.
I will let you raid whoever you want to raid.
Sidetrack is live. Alright. Just casually chatting in our chat at the same time as streaming.
Getting it started?
Yep. Thanks for watching. See you soon.
Don't get sidetracked. Go to see sidetracked.
Well,